Aunt Ag was a well-known medium in her own right, wasn't she? Didn't she feature in one of Arthur Findlay's books?
That's right, yes. Yes, Aunt Ag, who was Mrs. Agnes Abbott, was a very well-known medium on the earth plane. She was a trance medium at the Marylebone Spiritualist Association, which became the SAGB, and in one of her sittings with Arthur Findlay, which I only found out while I was the founder manager of the Arthur Findlay College at Stansted Hall, that this sitting in April 1928, she had given Arthur Findlay 92 correct facts, and he considered it so important that he included it in almost verbatim, I think, in one of his books, looking back, his autobiography, and as an appendix to his first book, On the Edge of the Etheric. So we were very, very fortunate and privileged to have Aunt Ag as a medium in our circle.
Was Aunt Ag the only guide that controlled your mother?
Oh no, no. My mother's main guide was a North American Indian called Sunrise, who in effect was the doorkeeper for the circle, making sure on the spirit side that mischievous spirits didn't come in. And he could be likened, of course, to Aunt Ag's guide, Running Water, who did the same for Aunt Ag in her circles. As I said, we started off in April, and the first night my mother was controlled by one of Aunt Ag's guides, strangely enough, Running Water, not her own guide, who said that if we sat for trumpet phenomena, we would achieve it. And I thought, well, this is crazy. No way could we get trumpet phenomena. But we did. Oh, ye of little faith, as I always say. So, we did. Sid made a couple of trumpets, I made one, cardboard, tin, wooden, and we stuck them on the floor, as I showed you in the middle. The third week, the third sitting, by the way, we sat in the dark. For the trumpet phenomena, we always sat in the dark. But we had luminous spots at a later stage on the end of the trumpet, which you'll see, so we could always see where it was moving, where it was flying around the room as it did, and then stop, and we got the voices through. But it was always in the dark. Materialization, which I'm moving on to later, was in red light. Quite different. However, at the end of the third sitting, lights went on, not a lot had happened. We sang bright and cheerful songs, not a lot happened. Then Sid went over to move the trumpet. He picked the little cardboard trumpet up, took it, and he said, "Who put that there?" Looking at us all as... Mind you, there were only 6 of us then. Mrs. Hildred joined us about 6 weeks later. Mr. Jones about 7 months later, okay? We said, what? And on the floor was a small piece of white blossom, just like cherry blossom, underneath the trumpet. He said, well, somebody must have had it in their pocket. It must have fallen out of your pocket. I said, no, Sid, no. No, it was our very first apport. Now, let me explain what apports are, for those who don't know. An apport is a material thing. It's not spiritual, it's not psychic, it is a physical thing. Anything at all, a watch, a bell, a piece of paper, anything, brought into the room without physical contact. What they do, spirit people dematerialize it, means it has no physical body, bring it through the wall, which doesn't exist as far as that's concerned, and then rematerialize it in the room. Sounds simple, doesn't it? It is to them, but they can't explain how they do it. It's always difficult for them to explain how they do anything. I mean, I would make the analogy, you know, well, I'm sure you've heard it, how can you explain to a person who's been blind all their life what a colour is? You can't, can you? Because they do not have a vocabulary. You can't say green is like a leaf of a tree, because they don't even know what a tree is, they don't even know what the colour that is. That is the problem the spirit people have with explaining how they do things. So that we can't always get the answers how. but they do it. And over the years, we had hundreds of apports, hundreds of flowers particularly, and I'll explain more about the flowers perhaps when we come to the material.
Over the years, you had a wide variety of apports, didn't you?
Oh gosh, yes. Yes, over the years, including such items as a Royal Artillery button, which came on one of our, what we call our soldiers' nights. The Saturday nearest to November the 11th we always called Soldiers' Night, because in those days there was the armistice, where we had the 2-minute silence. And on another occasion, on one of those nights, we had this beautiful poppy, but it was a cloth poppy, not one of the current plastic ones. And then when Sunrise came, Sunrise built on the 52nd sitting, the anniversary, he built complete with his headdress, and then brought with him an apport of a feather, this lovely orange feather which was brought. Where he got it from we don't know, but he brought that with him as well. Of course, in addition to the apports I've just mentioned, we were so privileged in January 1954 at a special sitting to receive as an apport this wonderful little bell, this Indian temple bell, which you can hear ringing. And one of the interesting matters about it is that it has not lost its shine.
After all these years?
After all these years, it still retains its shine.
That is amazing.
It is.